Good afternoon on what is a cold, damp, but bright day. It is Thursday, the 4th of November. I am back in the region with a nice hot cup of tea and a cat who is not ours. And of course, some parcels. And the next one I am going to open is this one. So let's get this one open, and inside what we've got is Cups of Clearwine. Now this, as you can see by the sign, this has come off the Johnstein Compendium, the community content program for RuneQuest, Roleplaying in Glorantha, Quest Worlds and 13th Age Glorantha. And it's another source book for RuneQuest, Roleplaying in Glorantha, and it's from Beer with Teeth. It's the second Clearwine book. The first one was Dregs of Clearwine, and it dealt with a corner of the city where the Dregs Society live, and presented them in detail, what they did, their houses, and if not their houses, where they slept, where they worked, and so on. Give them rooms to interact, and lots of lovely sort of like role-playing content to bring the area alive. And you could play them if you wanted to, so you could sort of like almost act out a little soap opera of their lives in this little tiny corner of the city. Or you could go in as players and explore the area and interact with them as you would normally. So, Cups of Clearwine is a source book for RuneQuest, Roleplaying in Glorantha, detailing the lives of ordinary people who can help you have extraordinary adventures. Cups have details for a dozen households, each with plot hooks for the area and beyond. There are food and wine shops, crafters and old retired warriors here. A Vendreth, who left the Grazelands, lives next to a Trollkin, Night Watch Guard. Bespoke art and maps bring the area to life. Every major NPC is drawn to show their personality and markings. That's important because every player, every character in RuneQuest generally has tattoos. The tattoos indicate their clan and their rune and cult affiliations. There is a roof map and corresponding footprint map, and the ground floor map of a rich middle-class house. Detailed households include Brodelia Noramel, an Israeli courtesan with a marked resemblance to a queen of Noshet. Tefira and Clawclaw, a Telmori and her wolf brother, who will not leave even when asked. Telemak the Magnificent, an entertainer and agent for shows. Senna Stoneshaper, Azraeli initiate and gem carver, and her redsmith husband Briar, and the drinkers at the House of Cups, owned by Elsina and visited by anyone and everyone. So, what we've got inside is essentially we've got boxes in here for life in Clearwine, general information and plot hooks. So it's neatly organised as you read through. And then we can see we've got an overview of the area, and the nice thing here is basically here's a view of the city of that particular section where Cups of Clearwine is set. They did it with the previous book, you see, so you've got a description there of what's about Clearwine, and then we go into Sandy Corner, and we've got two overviews here. One of the roofs, and then one of the buildings themselves, so the floor plans. And there are 13 buildings there, and establishments. So, you know, they can range from, you've got a perfume maker, tenant farmers, landholders. Then at the other end we've got the jewellers, the glassmaker, the foreign farmer, and so on. Essentially, it describes the politics of the area. The area's got a few problems. There's a local committee has sprung up to try and deal with them. Members recently put together a plan to hire a guard and so on. So there's a bit of action there. And then we start off with going the locations number by number, so 1 through 13. And we have the perfume maker. Little overview basically where his house is in relation to the others. Nice illustration of him. And then basically someone who lives there as well, and that's Tefira Wolffriend, and her companion Wolf Clawclaw. Tenant farmers, So we got, and we've got this one basically a weaver, and there's spindles and spinning, so there's a guide to weaving there as well. Nice bit of colour, bits of detail that you can add to your game when you interact. And then other inhabitants of the family, because they sort of live in large family groups, a lot of them. Then we got onto the landholders, so they're a bit more wealthy. And you can see that each one, basically, so we've got a view of the area where this building is concerned, this row, and then plot hooks straight up front that the game master can see and bring to her game and develop upon reading. The wine woman, so we have a merchant and a wine shop there. And then we've got a guide, a brewer's guild in Clearwine. That's the basic cult of Minlister, who is the god of brewing, and will often work with the god of winter to actually take your to turn your alcohol into spirits. And that's be more detailed in the cults of the gods in the Cups of Glorantha, but it's been mentioned elsewhere. We've got the hot food shop, again with more locations, and then got a nice bit of box out there on hot food shops, because basically saying as Sartar has become more and more urban, but hot food shops have become open to deities. Essentially what that means is, if you're English, Sartars are getting Greggs. So we've got a food shop menu as well. And again, you think if you're doing like a city campaign, that's really kind of useful, because this really nicely expands it. Works with it. We're sort of basically developed between. You can move back and forth between the other location, the dregs of Clearwine, and the food shop. You know, that's somewhere you're going to go. I want to get some lunch. I'll go there. You know, then the entertainer. Oh, an interesting thing. Well, they do waste management. Okay, well, how do they handle that? You know, RuneQuest and Glorantha is a kind of a way you kind of. You don't need to know that. If you know it, it might be useful. And if you know it, okay, well, how can I turn that into adventure? Can I make something of that? And then the Trollkin Guard. There we go. He's the night watchman, because obviously nothing better than working at night for a Trollkin. And again, you can see essentially, as it's moving through the area, you can see the area expanding on the cross section. And we've got a cursed house, and the place where the courtesan lives. And then someone else put Brudella's house in more detail, and Brudella, it says on the back, is an Esralian, is the courtesan. So that'll be interesting. Basically, if you're one of your player characters sort of like visits a courtesan, and there's nothing wrong with it, they do. The jewelers. Again, I mean, I really like these illustrations. We've got nice little pots here throughout, and then we've got also the portraits of the characters, and that captures a lot of their flavour. It's really nicely done. The glass maker, lastly, and then a guide to glass making. Again, just adding flavour and detail, and bringing to life just a corner of Glorantha and the foreign farmer, and the last section. So then we get into the House of Cups snacks, and that's actually got a cooking guide. Brilliant. I don't need that, but I mean, you know, if you were doing a RuneQuest game, that'd be really fun to do. You know, troll friendly snack mix, healer-friendly snack mix, and so on. And then it's a nice addition. Then we've got general plot hooks for the area. The last bit, and then demonstration adventure, which you can involve the player characters, and get everyone involved. And what can you buy? Covered in the appendix. There's a bit more information in here. Candy's the fox, who's from the Dregs of Clearwine, which is the supplement, but he can go back and forth, basically get the player characters involved in both areas. So this is Cups of Clearwine, a source book for RuneQuest Roleplaying and Glorantha. If you're running a campaign in the given source material available right now, which focuses upon Apple Lane and Pegasus Plateau and essentially the sort of central part of Sartar, with Clearwine sort of at its central focus, then I think this is a really good book to add to your campaign. Dregs of Clearwine added basically a down and out quarter, well, basically a lower class quarter and a less rich quarter. This adds a sort of like a more upward market region from there. And if you have, there's lots of information upon the city of Clearwine in both the Adventures book for the GM's pack for RuneQuest, and also some in Pegasus Plateau. Is it Pegasus Plateau or Smoking Ruin? I think Smoking Ruin. Sorry, Smoking Ruin, because that's where the mission starts for the player characters in that scenario. So, but this adds to it, and you can basically build adventures around those scenarios in the Smoking Ruin, and then obviously the encounters in the Gen pack, which mostly is set up against Apple Lane, but essentially at some point, if the scenario goes as planned in there, you do end up going back to Clearwine. Anyway, this is Cups of Clearwine, available on the Johnstown Compendium. This is not my copy, so I want to thank Neve for lending it to me. I've got to give it back and get my own copy to review. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you posting those, and I do take the time to read them. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings here in the Nook, where you'll see me here with a parcel and something that I can unbox and talk about for the best extent of my knowledge, all of course accompanied by a cat who is not ours, and a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.